Iulia Farnesia, Letters from a Soul. The True Story of Giulia Farnese. Written by Roberta Mezzabarba, translated by Barbara Mayer, and narrated by Andrew James Roberts. Published by TekTime. Forward. Most revered readers, I want to thank you personally and in advance for the attention you are about to dedicate to reading this work that the talented pen of Lady Roberta has been able to turn into a reality. I must be honest, I have wandered the world for many years looking for someone who could tell my story, the real one, without being influenced by all the slander that has been written about me over time. I came across Roberta by chance on the shore of my beloved Lake Bossina, when by then I had almost abandoned the search for a pen equipped with the intellect and sensitivity that could move it. At the first encounter, I thought it was a mistake, incredulous that I had finally found a soul similar to mine. Our encounters, casual at first, gradually became more frequent. It often happened that I saw her gazing, lost, towards Isla Bisantina, where my mortal remains are scattered in the dust. So I started waiting for her, keeping in mind the visits and the routes. Sometimes she went further, under the buttresses of the fortress, and looked up at it from below. Sometimes I saw her crouched on the stone of the Merganara, the mooring for my family's boats, until her shoes and feet became wet. And while she thought she was alone, I listened to her heart. She has written various texts. The first novel, The Long Shadow of a Dream, set for the most part in Capodimonte and on the Isla Bisantina. The second, entitled Bonds, and the third that has the title Confessions of a Concubine. The Bisantina and Capodimonte linked to a concubine, or the person that the world believed was such. It could certainly not be a coincidence, I told myself more and more often. Her path, her steps inevitably seemed to lead to me. When then, almost as a joke, she wrote a story about my person, and in particular about my testamentary agreements, winning literary awards everywhere. I understood, without a shadow of doubt, that she would be my voice. From that moment I no longer merely observed her, but I led. I induced her to retrace my steps. First, on a rainy Sunday in September in the year of the Lord 2019, I guided her to what had been my residence in Bassanello. Then in October of the same year I made sure that she was in Carbognano, on the only day when the present lords of the castle allowed visitors. On those days, Donna Roberta busily studied the texts that concerned me, and when she found herself in my last home, I am sure she was able to understand and make her own the message I wanted to convey with the frescoes that I had commissioned. On that occasion, I also put 2 women from Carbognano in her path, and they led her and her kind husband, a nice young man who reminds me a lot of my second husband Giovanni, through the streets of the village to the church of Santa Maria della Cazione, my church. In December 2019, I encouraged her to seek access to the Rocca di Capodimonte, where I was born. One of the current owners, Ranieri Orlandi Brenciaglia, kindly accepted her request, but he gave her an appointment in late evening. And so, due to the onset of a sudden and fortuitous neck pain, she was forced to decline that nocturnal visit. The next appointment took her to cross the threshold of Rocca di Capodimonte in broad daylight and look out of the window and fill her eyes with that magnificent vision. I am sure that she perceived which openings I looked from most often, also because I saw her lingering at my favourite window for a really long time. She then paid her dear friend and painter, Francesca Cragnolini di Udine, to make a portrait of me. Since somebody
Sample complete. Ready to continue?